Well, if you've been watching the news recently, you've probably seen autism in the headlines and debates over its causes. Today, though, we want to explore what it's like to live with it, which is a tall order because autism is a spectrum that presents differently in different people. But we do have insight into one family's journey, thanks to a new book entitled Born Lucky, a dedicated father, a grateful son, and my journey with autism. It's written by veteran journalist and News Nation anchor Leland Vittert, and he joins us today to share his very deep and personal story. Leland, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great to be with you.
I got to tell you, when my executive producer handed me the book a couple days ago and said, we have a chance to interview Leland, I looked at the book and was like, okay, I don't know if I can read it all in time because I'm a slow reader, but man, I ripped through this thing in a day and a half. It was so well written. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. You're kind to say that. And this is my story, but it's not about me, right? This is about giving hope to parents. My parents, when I was 5 or 6 years old, was told I needed to be evaluated, something no parent ever wants to hear. They go to the psychology testing center, the linoleum floors, stale coffee, and the psychologist walks off and says it's very difficult to explain what's going on inside his head, meaning mine. And my dad asks, is there anything we can do? And they say, generally not. The hopelessness that my dad felt is something no parent should ever feel. So this book is hope, real hope, not just for parents of kids with autism, but ADHD, struggling with anxiety, bullying, the difficulties of growing up, that there really is hope that my parents didn't have in that moment, in my dad's journey, and the real lessons of not adapting the world to me, but as you found out, how my dad adapted me, who didn't speak till he was 3, to the world.
I mean, the story was incredible, and full transparency, it hit me on a lot of different levels because, like your dad, I'm also the father of a son with autism, and I did get that hope, so mission accomplished on that front. And I saw a lot of parallels with your journey growing up and my son's journey growing up too. You got pretty personal with some of the bullying from you know, first grade all the way up through college. Just reading that whole journey was it difficult to revisit some of that trauma and put that all down?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the crushing isolation was awful. And to go back to that, you know, I didn't have a therapist. I didn't do any of that. You know, think about it, the only person I had was my dad. He was at the bottom of the driveway every day at 4:20 when I got home. So 8th grade, there was a art teacher who, you know, didn't think I was going to become Picasso. I wasn't. And he said in front of the whole class, you know, Vittert, if my dog was as ugly as you, I would shave its rear end, didn't say rear end, and make it walk backwards. In front of the whole class. So I would come home every night just shattered and broken, and my dad would spend 3 or 4 hours putting me back together, and I'd either go to sleep or have homework to do. So I'd been crying in my room with him. He'd walk downstairs, and you know what this is like to hear from your son. And he would bring me downstairs, and he would come downstairs, and he would sit in the living room by himself all dark at night crying himself. And my mom would then walk out and find him at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. But the next day he would take me back to school. And the idea here is not to pave the way for a child, but to hold their hand through the adversity.
And find a goal and work for it.
Yeah, that was a huge part of this. 200 push-ups a day, starting when I was 5 or 6 years old, to teach me that self-esteem was not given, it's earned, which is something that's maintained throughout my whole life. One of the things that I think is the best part of the book is my dad's afterword. I won't spoil it for anybody. The book's out now. You can buy it.
It's brilliant, what he wrote, yeah.
Yeah, what he wrote by far the best part. But there were 2 things that were non-negotiables, which was character and hard work. And it was controlling the things you could control and giving a kid the power to have pride in those things, not try to push me in ways that I was never going to be successful, like being popular or having friends or being great in academics.
And that honor and doing the right thing even when people aren't looking were values he instilled with you that carried you all throughout your career to the very point that you're at now at News Nation.
Yeah, look, I think some folks will be interested in the parts of cable news. I tell the story in Born Lucky. I've never talked about it before, about being asked to leave or invited to leave Fox News after I publicly questioned, was the only anchor to do it, Trump's claims in the 2020 election. And I was broken again, right? I had almost died of COVID. I had lost my job. I had gotten out of a long-term relationship. I'm sitting there in my parents' bedroom in Florida by myself. All my possessions are in a backpack. And I was just at the lowest point I could be at, sort of like when I was in 8th grade. And my dad looked at me, he goes, look, you made it back to school. You went through middle school. You can get through this. And I think that's that lesson to kids, that if they can overcome and get through the adversity, and that's what people will take away from this book, it is enormously, far more empowering than telling them how great they are.
I think it's incredible. I think it's a book that everybody should read, whether they're touched by autism in their family or not. I want to put the cover back up there so everybody can get a good look at this, especially parents, though, who are raising an autistic child. So many great nuggets in here. Again, Born Lucky, a dedicated father, a grateful son, and my journey with autism. What a great love letter to your dad, who, by the way, in the afterword, made sure that a lot of credit went to your mom, too, because she was quite the backbone in your family's journey as you were growing up. And then you've got a special coming up with the book, too, right? I think we could put some information up on the screen for that.
Yeah, you and I are journalists, and we hate becoming the story, right? Yeah. Which this now has happened to me. The idea behind the special is to have Bill O'Reilly, who is a veteran journalist and not an easy interview, really give this the journalist treatment. You don't want to do a special about yourself. So this is the idea of having somebody really put the thumb screws to me. And I think for folks out there who watch the special, the book gives you a very different perspective. So buy the book on Amazon right now. Don't stop watching the program. You can just pull your phone out. And then also we'll be on TV on Sunday night.
And don't forget, you can also catch Leland every weeknight at 9 on Balance with Leland Vittert on News Nation. Leland, thank you so much for making time with us today.
What a special interview. Thank you for the support.
You bet. Have a great one.